Hello. Figured I would just go for a little walk and see what I see and maybe share out some nature nuggets today. All right. A lot of plants here. Oh, that's a giant stump. Now, if only we could see the rings on this stump, we could figure out how old this tree is or was. But it is too wet today to be able to see any rings on that tree. All the leaves and stuff. Got these trees right here. These are cedar trees, probably planted on purpose. You can see the bark in here on them. Right. So these are more ornamental, but sometimes you see cedar trees out in the wild. You can tell that this is a cedar tree because these aren't really needles. They're somewhere between like needles and leaves almost. Pretty soft to touch and everything. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Member of kind of the pine trees and firs and stuff like that. Definitely a conifer because they keep their green stuff throughout the winter. All right, so we scroll on through. Got a starling up here chirping away. But then you can hear this really loud red-winged blackbirds. And that's pretty normal for this area. You can see that this is kind of like a wetlands area, and those red-winged blackbirds love this kind of habitat. See what other nature nuggets we can find. There's some good stuff right here. So this stuff right here on the tree, this is lichen. And lichen is a little bit different than moss. Lichen is more kind of like if moss and algae got together and had a baby. That's more what lichen is. Now lichen's pretty cool. It grows on trees and rocks. And lichen actually can break down rocks. It eats rocks almost, which is pretty interesting to think about. Like, oh, rocks, nothing destroys a rock. Well, lichen can actually, which is pretty neat. Now, if we were talking about moss, so come down here, you can see some soft moss down here. And then, yep, right over here, a different type of moss, which is pretty neat. This is a type of club moss. It grows up in this little kind of club shape and stuff. That's pretty cool. Neat. All right. Ooh, here's some robins. Here's some cardinals out there. Got some more lichen on these trees. You can see this big tree broke here. Still gotta finish cleaning that up. That was in a windstorm a couple weeks ago. See what other nature nuggets we can find over here. Maybe we'll walk over the little bridge. Nice tall oak tree right here. Look how tall that tree is. That's pretty cool. Sometimes it's hard to identify trees when there's no leaves on them, but when you see oak tree like that, tall, thick, and those lines on the bark going vertical up and down usually means it's an oak tree. You can also look on the ground, and predominantly the type of leaves that we see on the ground here are oak leaves. We have a little one like so. Try to show it so people can see it. That's an oak leaf right there. That's a tiny one. But then you see a more traditional oak leaf like that. Definitely an oak tree. I do see a combination of lots of other trees just by looking at the leaves on the ground. Got a beech tree. That's a beech tree leaf right there. Got some of those around here. And yep, that's just a wee little one. Here we go. There's a good one. Also, of course, we've got some maple leaves around here. There are maple trees as well. Right, let's see what else we can notice or find as we go on our little morning walk through the woods. Over here, we have some more cool stuff. I forget exactly what this is scientifically called, but we always used to call it princess pine. It's kind of like a little tiny little vegetation that grows along the ground like this. It's pretty. Looks like a little fairy forest or something like that, which is pretty cool. Oh, cool. There's some spring growth. Some stuff starting to come out and bloom. Today I think it's supposed to get up to 65, 67 degrees, so I might start charging up some of these trees to start growing and stuff. Got a lot of different things. I don't know everything, so I'm just looking at stuff that it looks interesting to me. That's pretty cool right there. Oh, I wish I could find it right now. I know that right in this area I have a sassafras tree that's tiny and grows, and I'm trying to protect it, but I can't seem to find it right now when it doesn't have its leaves and stuff. So hopefully in the nicer weather I'll be able to find it and kind of get it identified so I can use it to do more stuff like this. Right. Cool. Got some swampy wetlands back there. Sometimes I see some ducks back there. Today I don't see anything. I had a couple of beautiful wood ducks fly over into this little swampy area yesterday, which was pretty cool. But we don't see any ducks over there today. We can make our way around here. Here's some more beech trees. Right, you can see the leaves on them. Right, now I'm saying beech, B-E-E-C-H, not beach like ocean and sand, and not birch. Those are different. Cool. Keep walking up our little trail. Ooh, we could go the red trail, or we could go the white trail. We go the red trail. Just some nature nuggets looking for today. A little virtual hike. Now what's interesting is right here, this little area looks pretty barren, but when this is in full vegetation mode, there's tons of poison ivy in here and ferns and all sorts of stuff. Speaking of ferns, here's some fern left over from last year right here. Kind of see that ferns are pretty cool. They're a pretty old plant. They actually have spores on the bottom and don't use seeds to reproduce, which is kind of like old nature technology, which is pretty cool. Oh, I know what I have over here that's interesting. cool. So now this is a tree. This is a birch tree. Now this is different kind of birch. This is not a white birch that has that white bark on it, but this is a different kind of birch tree altogether. It's probably either a silver or a yellow birch, which is pretty cool. See if I can find any of its leaves on the ground. I don't spy any right now, but yeah, that's pretty neat. As you come over through here, one of the big things that I definitely like to point out sometimes is this. If you see these big thick vines that are on this tree, right, and you can see that they branch off too, right? It's just more of that vine. It's got branches. That vine, believe it or not, is poison ivy. In the warm weather, it'll grow this like red hair on it, which is disgusting and gross. But it will have leaves that are like bigger than oak leaves sometimes, and it's pretty crazy. But poison ivy is sometimes described as this tiny little low to the ground, shiny leafed things. If it were nice weather right now, I could show you a poison ivy leaf that is bigger than my hand, is not shiny at all, and has these big red vines growing up trees, and you'd be like, what? That's not what I learned poison ivy was. Well, it's very different, right? Here's another cedar tree. It's not doing too good way out here. It's kind of leaf things are a little bit different than the previous one we showed, right? Oh, here's a good one. So we have this nice pine tree right here, right? As I reach over and touch it, you can see how like this is really soft, really soft. And if I reach in here, and I don't want to damage the tree, but if I just pluck one little needle packet off this tree, kind of show it in my hand here. Oops, I dropped a needle. Oh, I dropped a couple needles. Let's try that again. Let's see. I just want one good needle pack. Here we go. One good needle pack. So the bottom is intact. If I can kind of hold it in my hand here as I drop it on the ground. If I count these needles, I'm going to notice that there are 5 of them. I keep dropping needles as I pick them, so now it's showcasing 4. But I can tell you for certain there are definitely 5 needles in each packet. When you find a pine tree that is soft, has needles that look like this, and there's 5 needles per packet, that means that it is a WHITE white pine. Wait, how many needles are in that packet? 5? Oh my gosh, 5 needles, white pine. Guess how many needles are in the packet of a red pine? RED. 3. You'd be correct. And you can tell their bark is a little bit different as well. So this is still that white pine. It's got pretty smooth bark. A red pine is really tall, and it's got kind of like a purpley reddish tinge to its bark. Yeah, a couple of cedars out here too that aren't gonna grow very well. You can see these light leafed things. Those are beech trees. All right, got some more, this beech tree over here. Got some more little white pines growing over here. Let's go see if there's anybody over here at the pond. Nope, not really. Got some water dripping off the trees here. Some birds that I hear. Bet you if it's warm out, I come out here, I'll probably hear some frogs. Maybe tonight if it's warm, I'll do that. Hear a cardinal chirping over there. Right? Little brookie going down this way. Got some more lichen on these trees. Another tree that came down a while back. Gotta try to cut that up too. Get that out of the way. As we're coming up here, we got some more trees. These are different. Yeah, these are more fir trees, probably. Not super great on my firs and balsams and things like that. But this is more of like a Christmas tree kind of thing, right? I've got a whole stand of these growing upside the house here. I got another tree stump. My neighbor just cut down this dead tree here. It's a very interesting pattern. And here as I wipe it around, you can see that there's some really cool marks there. And then there's like a really interesting mark over there. It's almost like a couple trees maybe grew into one. We do see some ring patterns though. Could probably count those rings. Maybe I'll do a different video on that when it's a little bit drier and I can sweep it off with a broom and protect it a little bit more. But yeah, just a little morning walk. I don't know that there's too much else I can really show from here, but thanks for joining me, and I'll be posting some other videos in the near future. Enjoy.